So let's talk about this in-season tournament final day. We got a few matchups, and finally we finished the group stage of the in-season tournament, which means that we can go on to the bracket stage, which basically means that we're gonna actually get some competitive games, some competitive games which would lead to the finals. First, I want to say that the in-season tournament has worked. Teams actually care about this tournament, and that's not to say that they wouldn't. But what I'm saying is that this tournament was originally looked at as a joke by most people outside of the NBA. People really didn't care about what was going on, and honestly, the in-season tournament looked more like a way for the NBA to sell themselves in a different way, not as much an actual serious tournament, but it has been. There's the point differential stats, which have made it so that teams are actually scoring in the end of games and not just, piling on each other and fighting each other when it comes to, like stopping the game early. They have been competitive, and yesterday we got some games which, even though they were great, they meant a lot for the in-season tournament. I want to talk about this Bulls and Celtics game. The Celtics basically had to blow out the Bulls because if they didn't, then it was going to cause them to probably not be in the tournament. They snuck their way in the third spot of the tournament, and it's honestly pretty good what the Celtics did. They in the end did manage to get in, and if you guys didn't see the game, Joe Mazzulla actually fouled Andre Drummond a lot, which caused him, and the team to get mad. But it was mostly due to the fact that if the Celtics did not win this game by like 30 points, then they were not going to be respected, and they were probably not getting into the in-season tournament bracket finals. Then we had games like the Nets and the Raptors, which, they were in-season tournament games, but they did hold less weight. If we're being 1,000% honest, this tournament game was just mostly just to round out the standings, but none of these teams made it to the finals. And I will, by the way, at the end of the video, read the teams which made it onto the bracket, Then we had the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Hawks, another in-season tournament game, and a lot of these just ended up with none of the teams making it. But that was mostly due to the fact that they were already, either eliminated or the fact that winning or losing that game wasn't going to affect themselves or their record. Anyway, then after this, we have probably one of the most important games yesterday, which was the Bucks versus the Heat. The Heat had a chance to get into the tournament with this game, and they didn't, as they got beaten by the Bucks. Giannis and Dame both went crazy, especially Dame. Which, even though Giannis made 50% from three and he did all the shenanigans, Dame dropped 32 points with 9 assists, which was just super alleviating for his team. And in the end, he hit a clutch three to really ice the game. This game single-handedly eliminated the Heat and made the Bucks go into the tournament. Shout out to Bam for dropping 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. Then the Knicks versus Hornets. This was another game which mattered. If the Knicks won this game, then they had a chance of getting one of the higher seedings. They needed to win this game by a lot of points against Charlotte so that they could actually get into the tournament. And in the end, the Knicks did win. They won by 24. Apart from all this, a few more games which mattered, right, were Oklahoma City and Minnesota, which actually, I think, eliminated the Thunder from being able to play in the in-season tournament. In my opinion, that was, a major L. I do think that the Thunder have been one of the most exciting teams in all of basketball this season, and seeing them in the tournament would have been fun, especially with the fact that since Minnesota didn't get in, it would have been great to see that team be able to compete. The Mavericks and the Rockets also played where the Mavericks won. Luka just went crazy, dropping 41 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds, and 2 steals with no turnovers. He was absolutely insane, hitting everything in the clutch. And if we're being 1,000% honest, this game was amazing. The Rockets, I feel like they needed to win this one for the tournament, and I think it was for the tournament. And if it was not, then it was just that they wanted to win this one, and there was a lot of chirping. Dylan Brooks and Luka went at it, and in the end, Luka absolutely torched the Celtics, and Kyrie did too. Not the Celtics, the Rockets, to win this game. Finally, and the most interesting game out of all of this, which is the highest stakes game too, was this Golden State versus Sacramento game. Golden State and Sacramento faced off, and Golden State cooked Sacramento. They had a 24-point lead. It was amazing for about like the first 3 quarters. Then for the first like 2 quarters. Then Sacramento hit one of the biggest comebacks which we've seen in recent NBA history to come back. Sacramento came back from a 24-point deficit to beat Golden State by 1 point and were absolutely monstrous. They played efficiently, they played well, they were clutch, they played great defense. Their arena was just going crazy. And if we're being honest, Sacramento is a tough team, and with this game, they got into the in-season tournament bracket to possibly win it. They eliminated the Golden State Warriors, which had some underperformances, if we're being 1,000% honest. The only person who played up to their standard or even better was Andrew Wiggins, who dropped 29 points and 10 assists. And if we're being 1,000% honest with the Warriors, they probably need to make some changes, because if not, this Klay Thompson inefficiency, this Draymond Green turning the ball over 4 times but only having 3 assists, and this Chris Paul injury because he's old will affect them much more come playoff time. If we see the truth, De'Aaron Fox played amazingly. Kevin Huerter played amazingly. Malik Monk played amazingly. And some of the more role players even stepped up to make this win possible for the Sacramento Kings in a game where it just felt like they had to win. Looking apart from all this, I want to say that I'm sorry in-season tournament. The reason why I say this is because as I list all the games out, I have to say my sincerest apologies to the NBA. Originally, when I saw the in-season tournament, I was excited. But I also had mixed feelings. I wanted to see what the league would do. But if we're being honest, a tournament in the middle of the season is not the NBA style. The NBA was watch your 82 games, and when it gets to the playoffs, you're gonna get probably the best product that you get, all year. But this in-season tournament has been amazing. Competitive matchups. The group play has been great. Teams getting motivated to play hard. And 4 teams on the East and West. In the East is the Bucks, the Pacers, the Celtics, and the Knicks in order. And in the West, it's the Lakers, the Kings, the Pelicans, and the Suns, which are just incredible matchups. They're really hard teams to beat. And this in-season tournament has just looked amazing. How it's going to work now is that they're going to face off each other, Bucks and Knicks, Pacers and Celtics, Lakers and Suns, and Kings and Pelicans. Whoever does that, the winners face each other and the winners of those matches face each other. And if I'm being honest, I'm putting my money on that the Indiana Pacers are probably losing the first game of this tournament. I do think that they are going to be, the first team to be eliminated just because of the way that they play and the fact that they can't play defense and the Celtics are way too tough. And if I have to pick a winner, a way too early winner for the in-season tournament, I think I'm taking Phoenix. I think that they're the only team which can score that many points, which can really get up there in the scoring values, meanwhile also being consistent and being good enough to, care. If we're taking logistics wise, right, then the Kings are going to win it, because why would a Suns team which have Kevin Durant there, take and win the in-season tournament when they're so old? The Kings probably got the most legs under them to be winning these types of tournaments. But yeah, we'll see what the in-season tournament brings, and I hope you enjoyed the games of today. Peace.